two really good rebounding teams, Jim, and I think the key in this tonight's game is Drew Neitzel. In 8 postseason games the last 2 years, he's averaged almost 20 a game. He'll have to go over 20 tonight if Michigan State's going to win this game.
It's back out to Neitzel right here.
He's got Anderson guarding. Anderson, the bigger of the two. Neitzel awful quick getting that jump shot off. Nice
down low. Morgan over to Namick. Jump hook. And the Spartans execute beautifully with their first trip.
This will be one of the few teams that Memphis has seen in a while that will have power inside that can match up with them.
Backdoor they go, and Douglas Roberts driving the baseline and fed on the backdoor pass.
First team All-American, Conference Player of the Year. Just a great slasher. Going over the top of the press.
The Michigan State team is the 5 seed in this bracket and beat Pittsburgh in round 2.
Neitzel trying to get some screens to get some openings. He's getting a hard time shooting right over the top.
Sutan hits the jumper. First 2 shots for the Spartans are good.
Sutan capable of going outside and shooting that shot, Jim. We've seen him throughout his career. 16, 18-foot range. He's in good shape there.
Michigan State again with wins over Temple and Pitt to make it to this round, while Memphis took out Texas, Arlington, and Mississippi State.
Zone defense matching up right now.
Rose. And what a touch.
Absolutely soft, beautiful touch. He's so powerful. Not a good pass by Lucas, and you can't do that against Memphis because they'll get off and running.
Dorsey went right off the floor, and a travel call. Dorsey saves it and actually walks right off the stage, or falls right off the stage. You see the lineups with Lucas, the freshman.
Here's that full court man-to-man pressure.
Here is Kalen Lucas from Sterling Heights, Michigan.
Extremely quick with the ball.
Neitzel gets the open look, short with his first shot. Rose has it for the Tigers. And stolen. Pass was just soft.
There's that quickness of Lucas.
Back to Lucas, the trailer, and Namick able to retain it. Puts up the short shot, no. And a reach-in call against Sutan.
Sutan actually, Jim, should have put up the shot the first time. He had low post position. If he didn't score, he would have had himself a foul.
John Calipari, his 10th team he's taken to the NCAAs, and of course he's been to the Elite 8 the last couple of years. Took a UMass team to the Final Four back in 1996. His team 35-1, won their first 26, lost to Tennessee, and now they've got a 9-game win streak.
Been undefeated in their conference 2 years in a row.
There's Dorsey blocked out. And they come back out. Anderson with a 3, knocks it down.
Nice balance so far by Memphis. Crashing to the inside. They've got the outside shooting. There's not any disguise out here about this ball club. They were ranked #1 in the nation and deservingly so in the top 10 the entire year. Really a quality team. Nice feed.
Neitzel gave it up so quickly to Sutan. And the Spartans cut it to 7-6.
You know, the funny thing about Michigan State, too, what took them out of the top 10 this year were some of their miserable losses. That loss to Iowa, that loss to Penn State, that was totally out of character for a Tom Izzo coach team.
Tom Izzo, Billy, though 26-9 in NCAA tournament action. Pretty remarkable. 4 Final Fours in the last 9 years. That last foul was called on Drew Neitzel.
And a national championship.
And the championship in 2000.
Yeah, he's right up there bordering on the Mike Krzyzewskis, the Roy Williams, the guys that have had great tournament runs of late.
Another 3, all there. And it stays with Memphis. Why is it, do you think, that when you start talking about tournament coaches, because his record is right up there with the names you mentioned, he doesn't always come to mind first as they feed Dorsey on the inbounds for the dunk.
Weak defense on the out-of-bounds play there. You can see how powerful Dorsey is. You get him that close to the basket, he's going to finish.
Neitzel's shot is blocked. That was Antonio Anderson got a hand on it.
Yeah, Neitzel's going to find out Anderson has got size on him. He's going to be able to take away that jumper unless he gets the straight look.
Rose guns it in.
Well, Rose has made the tough drive, penetration move, and then the standstill jumper.
Almost true. The charge he does, in fact. So Derrick Rose draws the foul at the other end, draw charge.
3 pretty fair plays by the outstanding freshman.
Yep.
Had an outstanding game against Mississippi State to get them here. 17 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 turnover, Jim. When you start talking about an all-around game for a guard, that is very special.
You saw a 0-0 Edong Ibach coming in now for the Michigan State Spartans.
And they stay in the matchup. A little bit more like a man-to-man right now. Ibach started out on the top. They are playing man-to-man.
Now back to Rose. Neitzel guarding him.
Tough assignment for Neitzel. Rose so strong.
Nice save there by Anderson. Douglas Roberts wild with that shot. Dorsey back over to Dozier, and the foul against Michigan State.
Now, one thing that Michigan State can afford, they've got a lot of big players that can get into foul trouble, but they have fouls to give.
Well, Michigan State has its biggest deficit of the tournament, down 5.
Well, he's not sneaking up on anybody, Jim, that's for sure. Everybody knows what he's capable of doing. Moves so well without the ball. We saw Abrams in the game earlier tonight. Has that same ability to hide down there, but I think Curry with the, everybody's looking for him now, trying to stop him, knowing how important he is for Davidson, but nobody's been able to put him under control.
And they'll be taking on the winner of Villanova, Kansas, and Kansas off to the big start in that one. That enormously talented, powerful Jayhawk team could be their opponent on Sunday afternoon up there in Detroit.
And a team that has excellent defensive guards, so Curry is going to have his hands full because any one of 3 players can take him on.
Dozier hits the free throws.
Really important now for, in my estimation, Neitzel to get off. Anderson is guarding him extremely well. Anderson's got size on him. Neitzel hadn't been able to beat him.
Here's Walton into the game now for Michigan State.
Neitzel's working hard. He just can't get open. Nice help out by Dozier. Must have taken 1-on-1, but Dozier's got his long.
4 on the shot clock. Neitzel puts up the 3. That was Morgan way up in the air trying to battle for the rebound. He touched it last.
Oh, look at Dorsey's getting right in Neitzel's face, Jim, down the other end of the floor. And saying you can't get that shot off against me. Kind of interesting. He did a good job preventing Neitzel from getting that good look.
Memphis, all 5 starters have scored for the Tigers. And Neitzel on the other end is 0 for 3 from the floor.
And he's on the bench right now.
What if he took him out if he saw that jawing going on with Ian Dorsey?
Well, I think maybe he's going to let him look at the game for a little bit to try to decide where he can get himself open. Anderson did a great job on him.
Rose with the 3. Well, he's got some shot. That is a quick release.
Well, the thing about Rose that we've seen so far is his versatility offensively. Drove hard to the basket. He's got the range on the jump shot.
Last 9 points have gone to the Tigers.
John Calipari really excited about his defense over there. He's wanting his team to push that ball.
Chris Allen with the basket for the Spartans. Breaks the 9-0 run.
Nice patience by Rose here.
Douglas Roberts. He is pushed by Ibach.
Roberts, one of the best penetrators for his size, Jim. He's got that fluid motion. He's got the short jumper when he takes it inside, and he's an excellent finisher.
Ibach's second, he comes out. They also take Summers out after just a brief appearance. Namick back on the floor along with Sutan.
So far, you have Morgan and Neitzel. Neither one, although they're the 5th and 6th leading scorer in the Big Ten, a factor at all offensively in this game. We go back to the zone defense.
Rose was feeling it, but the shot was short and bounced long. First rebound of the game right there for Michigan State. As Chris Allen weaves through, and he's going to the line for a 3-point opportunity.
I think that surprised Memphis that Michigan State pushed the ball up the floor. They'd like to play maybe a little bit more half court than would Memphis.
Took over 6 minutes before the Spartans pick up their first rebound. And now Allen's come in with a couple of baskets. That foul was on Dozier. Five points by Allen in a minute of play.
Well, he had 12 in the Temple game, so pretty good NCAA look for him.
To the Dorsey, and he traveled.
Nice defense that time inside. You know, if Dorsey gets that close to the basket, Jim, in that particular case, he was probably trying to make a move that is not in his arsenal, but you might as well think about fouling.
Sean Taggart has come onto the floor. Sophomore from Richmond, Virginia.
Talented player, transfer. Sat out a year ago, but long and talented, particularly in the low post.
Walton lost the dribble. Namick was able to go to the floor to keep it.
But Allen's got that big, strong upper body, but those quick feet.
Foul call against the Tigers.
It's going to be against Allen. He was up against Sutan, just giving up too much size.
Talking about Andre Allen right there. Coming up, AT&T at the half with Greg, Clark, and Seth. We'll take you out for a live look at Villanova, Kansas. And they'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news, plus an AT&T Naismith watch update. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Willie Kemp has come in now for the Memphis Tigers, number 1.
Good shooter. This is a deep team. They really come in with so many different guys that can play different roles for them. Nice job by Lucas.
Lucas hits the jumper.
There was a case where Allen gave up awful early.
A little rally here by Michigan State. They've scored now the last 7.
Well, they're really packing this defense back in there. Nice blocking out on their part.
And Kemp comes right off the bench and knocks down a 3.
Talented team, Jim. A lot of weapons.
Yeah, they got a lot of ways they can score. Allen, that's a 3. And the tip comes back out to Raymar Morgan, to Allen, to Lucas. And no taking away that rebound from Antonio Anderson. Sends it over the wing to Kemp. Stuck. But Dorsey, the trailer, able to pick it up.
That was really a break. If Dorsey wasn't back there, that's a layup for Michigan State. Kemp's got to stay on the ground. Good job by Sutan. You're not going to play Dorsey that far away from the basket.
That's a foul outside on Lucas.
Well, Jim, the thing that jumps out if you're Michigan State is the fact that you have Morgan and Neitzel. Neither one of them have been a factor offensively. Morgan hasn't even had a field goal attempt tonight, and we've played almost 8 minutes, and you're just down 6.
And Neitzel hasn't scored. Timeout called by Memphis.
Jim, there's no secret in these stats. In the wins, Neitzel averages 14.6 points, shoots 44% from the floor, 42% from 3. In the losses, 9.3 points, 27% from the floor, and 27% from 3. So, you know, that basically sums up what Michigan State has got to turn around right here. They're back in that 2-3 zone. They've been in most of the time. Rose extremely patient. Kemp, a good shooter on the wing.
Here he is, Kemp, putting it up and knocking down a 3 for the second time.
That was pretty easy to call.
Sutan banging bodies with Taggart, and the rebound pulled down by Dozier.
And so many times, and we saw it in the first game of the Lopez brothers, guys get in that low post and they're going to go ahead and put up the shot. Nobody coming from the weak side to get an offensive rebound, and it's almost always there.
Yep, the long rebound is just no one at all. As you see, Dozier gets the rebound at one end, basket at the other, and the Tigers have now their largest lead of the night.
What I see is a big differential in talent level between these two teams. Well, you could say that this Memphis team's been undefeated in their conference 2 straight years. And you can say, well, the conference is down somewhat, but they can play in anybody's league.
Sutan with a 3.
Second time he stepped out today. This is the first 3.
He's got 7.
They were the #1 seed in 08, and obviously this year, in 06, and the #2 seed in 07. So it's not like this is a one-year happening. John Calipari really has it working at Memphis.
Like you said, in the conference, he's gone right through it the last 2 years, undefeated, including through the tournament. Turnaround shot by Taggart.
I said Taggart's got some nice offensive moves. Had an outstanding game I had a chance to do earlier this year against Tulsa.
And that's going to be a traveling call against Allen. Well, Neitzel put up 3 shots. That one was blocked.
That was a good look he had there and didn't get a chance to go. And that was the one in which Dozier was right there, or Dorsey was right there in his face.
Neitzel had a big game against Pittsburgh. Hit 5 threes in the win over the Panthers.
5 of 8 threes, 21 points. Had 4 rebounds in that game in addition to 4 assists.
Douglas Roberts.
And there's where he uses that length to just go over the top of guards. Neitzel is moving, but the problem is Anderson is staying right with him. Anderson at 6'6", really has got a size advantage.
Taggart with a push in the back.
And Morgan, Jim, has not even presented himself to get the ball offensively. There's a hold.
He has not attempted a shot.
No, I mean, we're at under the 10-minute mark, has not attempted a shot. We're talking about one of the leading scorers in the Big Ten. 5th leading scorer has not attempted a shot. Bad pass.
Walton, he thought that Neitzel was going to cut the other way, and Lucas returns for Walton after the turnover.
Well, Michigan State's been changing their defense around. A little zone, some matchup zone. Now it looks like they're in the man-to-man. Neitzel on Anderson. Plays over the top of him.
Taggart couldn't ask for a better look. Foul's going to be against Raymar Morgan. Well, the free throw issue that's always hovering over this Memphis team when they're discussed, well, it certainly hasn't even been something worth talking about to this point tonight. But out of the 341 Division I teams, they rank 339.
Well, at one point this year, they were right down there on the bottom. I think only one team was actually lower than they were. But Jim, in the postseason, they've shot 62%. I realize that's nothing great, but a little bit of an improvement.
Dozier earning 1 more. You saw them late in the regular season, Billy, and you felt that they would shoot the free throws better come tournament time.
Yeah, I mean, this is an athletic club. I think it's just a matter of concentration for them. Most of them have good form. They have no business shooting down there below 60%. Neitzel can't even get a backdoor cut because Anderson's got too much size on him.
Anderson staying right with him, the far side of the floor. Here's Summers, dishes, nice. Sutan, well executed.
It seems that when Michigan State penetrates, they've been able to get some backdoor cuts on the inside.
Rose is limping a little bit out there. And he looked over to the bench as he was bringing the ball up court.
I wonder if it's a cramp.
Yeah, he's hurting. And Lucas with the quick hands. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Out to Anderson with a 3. Tipped right back to the shooter. Floats it. Tipped up, yes. Dozier.
Boy, he almost got that lob to work, but how quick was he bouncing back for the second attempt? Morgan finally going it hard for the ball inside.
And got hit from behind by Dozier. You know, you've seen Kansas this year, Billy, when they get up like that on someone, That might be the hardest team in all of college basketball to get back into the game with.
And they have tremendous balance inside and out. And Jim, you know, one of the things that's alive and looking strong are the #1 seeds. There have never been 4 #1 seeds make it to the Final Four. But right now, they all look like they're playing extremely well and in control.
And that's Lucas back out to Neitzel. Neitzel now guarded by Andre Allen.
Smaller man on him, maybe he can get a jump shot off. There it is.
There it is, takes the 3. And now he's missed his first 4 from the floor. And that's a foul against Raymar Morgan. His second.
Well, I really felt, Jim, as I said at the top of the show, Neitzel would have to have the big night here for Michigan State to play with this talented Memphis team. So far, that hasn't been the case, and you look up at the scoreboard, and it isn't the case. He and Morgan have got to come up big in this game offensively. Neither has been able to do anything.
Well, Anderson hits the front end of a 1-on-1.
And here you have that situation again. Look at this stroke, Jim. I mean, you look at the guys that have been on the foul line so far tonight. They all have a good-looking foul shot. And nothing but net there.
They're 5 out of 6 tonight as a team. And they've got a 15-point advantage.
It's been straight man-to-man all this ball game. Anderson has just been hounding whoever is on the perimeter. Does a good job again.
And Allen comes out with it.
Looking for the lob.
They got the quick legs going too as Douglas Roberts hits the shot. It's something we've been talking about all tournament long.
Slides over with the right-handed shot.
The teams that look fresh, Billy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is the last hope for the Big Ten. Talking about Michigan State with Wisconsin getting pummeled tonight by Davidson.
Well, we talked often last weekend about the fresh legs. Obviously, Wisconsin didn't have it. We said that North Carolina did. It looks like Kansas does. And I'll tell you, this Memphis team looks pretty strong too, Jim, in terms of quickness. Up and throughout their entire lineup. You know, every guy that's coming to this ball game looked like he's quick. Nice step out.
Zouton inside. He's having a good game. He's got 10.
Well, Dorsey did an
11.
excellent job stepping out there on Neitzel, and nobody helped him out. Dorsey's telling Tiger, hey, you've got to pick up my man.
Check out the nominees for the Pontiac game-changing performance of the tournament at Pontiac.com/NCAA, where you can also enter for your chance to win a Pontiac G8 and a trip for 8 to this year's Final Four. That foul is on Walton. And now Allen at the line, 1-1.
40% free throw shooter. You know what you might think about doing if you're Michigan State, Jim, with 6 minutes to go? Just going into a fouling routine. Try to get that ball back. Take away some of the offensive threats that Memphis has, because they hadn't been able to stop them in a traditional defense.
You know, it's interesting. Oh, what a steal here.
Look at who's got it. Watch this dunk.
Joey Dorsey.
He almost walked on that play. You know, he started that thing at about the top of the key. When's the last time we saw a backboard crush, Jim? Do you remember?
I don't know. You talking about Bryant Reeves?
Yeah.
That was a practice. Yeah, at the Final Four in '95.
Well, that could have been another one right there.
There was enough force there that it crossed my mind. Zouton, no. They kick it out of there with Douglas Roberts. Memphis shooting 70%.
And from so many different people.
Anderson.
Great.
Dorsey with the putback.
And Jim, that was not a shot. I really believe he was going to try to lob that thing in there. Anderson's having a very good first half. Playing solid defense, shutting down everybody that he guards.
Coach Calipari is up on floor level, if you will. He's got a little stool over there like a cut man in the ring.
Well, I think he's got to love what his team is doing right now.
And he right now can sense that his team can really create some major separation, imploring them to keep it going. That was Morgan's first attempt of the night.
Well, they're doing this with Rose sitting over there on the bench. Now, I don't know if that was a cramp before. He had that slight little limp on in his looked like his left leg, but he's over there cheering right now. hadn't been needed. Zone defense here by Michigan State.
Baseline shot, slides off the rim. And again, quickness, Douglas Roberts.
Second time, floats on the inside, Jim. 6'5", 6'6". Just has that ability to slash inside and get the shot off.
And Rose is going to be checking back in, so he might be just fine with that leg.
Right, he and Kemp. I think he might have just had a cramp. That's a hold.
And it's called on Allen. That's a second on Allen.
Just swarming in every direction. Here's Dorsey coming in for that dunk. Took off just inside the foul line. Second time he's given Neitzel a little bit of word of advice. That could have brought down a board right there.
Memphis, a program that twice has been to the Final Four. 1973, where they made it all the way to the finals and ran into a hot shooting Bill Walton that night. And then 1985, both times they made the Final Four, they've gone through Houston.
Jim, they're 11-2 in Texas in the NCAA tournament. There's Neitzel, nowhere to go.
Fresh off another takeaway, the Tigers drive, and Rose gets the basket and a foul.
Yeah, I think his legs really bothering him.
Yeah,
he
you
just
can tell.
blew on by everybody there. And a real nice job by Dorsey not to touch that ball when it was up on the rim.
The 43-point total, already the most points allowed in the first half this year by Michigan State in a game. So Rose, who was limping around earlier, comes right back out, makes the play. Three-point play increases the lead to 24.
Now, Dorsey gets accused of a lot of things, but Jim, that was a very good, smart play he did there because he could have taken away a basket. Steps out again and recovers back to Suton. Boy, is Anderson loving this challenge on Neitzel. Just won't let him get a free look.
Suton gives it up, Namick. Cleared by Dorsey. Back out to Kip, who's come off the bench and knocked down a couple of threes.
Nice job by Rose, pulling the ball out. No sense taking bad shots and making the game sloppy. They've got a great working margin. It's a nice, smart play by him.
Been a near flawless performance by Memphis. Michigan State went over 6 minutes before it even picked up his first rebound.
And totally unselfish play, too.
Anderson short with that shot, but Taggart is there. And U35.
Now we're talking about a team that's an outstanding rebounding team in Michigan. #1 rebound at Michigan State. #1 rebounding team in the Big Ten. #8 in the nation, just being totally dominated on the boards.
And that's off Michigan State. How about this on their missed shots when Memphis is missed? Michigan State has 3 defensive rebounds and 8 offensive rebounds, meanwhile, for the Tigers. They have a +14 advantage on the boards right now, like you said, against the #1 rebounding team in the Big Ten.
Well, Tom Izzo has been a master of rebounding. With the exception of 04, they've been in the Big Ten first 9 times and second 3 times in the last 13 years. So this is something that he knows how to teach.
Rose.
Oh, he chased it down.
With a little wire act.
But tonight, John Calipari's club is teaching him a lesson or two.
Pierre Niles has come in. Another big body here for the Tigers, #4. Kemp lobbing it to Niles.
John Calipari ought to go sit on that chair and just relax. You know what? And he does. He does and sits down. Oh, he's back up.
That shot way off for Summers.
Well, remember in the Final Four when Tom Izzo brought a club, the last one he brought to the Final Four and had a game kind of like this, the first half, everything went crazy.
Against North Carolina, 2005 in St. Louis. That's when they went through Austin. That was Neitzel's freshman year when they beat Kentucky in double overtime to make it to the Final Four. Last touch by the Spartans.
Boy, Morgan touched that ball. That might be about as much as he's touched it all in this half. And it was on the defensive end of the floor. Has not been a factor.
Their leading scorer with only one attempt, and it was a misfire. Douglas Roberts returns. Michigan State saying, you know, we play Big Ten competition night in, night out. Well, let's see what this Conference USA champion is all about.
Well, I don't think that Tom Izzo said that. I think that he knows that this is one of the premier teams and programs in the country right now, what John Calipari has put together at Memphis.
And they are really showing it tonight.
What I like about it is that they have not gotten sloppy, even with this big working margin.
Ebach clears it for Michigan State. Up ahead.
Oh, beautiful.
That was Anderson. Everybody in the act for Memphis. At the other end, the dunk.
How about Anderson, Jim? Gets the rebound, runs the floor, gets it back.
And a near steal. Allen set up for the shot. And that's long. Ebach gets it right back to him. Allen stumbles on the floor. Got another break. Rose can dunk it if he wants.
You know, I haven't seen a Tom Izzo team just absolutely get blown away like this. So this is a no contest.
They have scored the last 15 points.
And have no answers to this.
No, they can't not solve this riddle. Allen with a three. Taggart clears. 7 seconds. Rose realizes up ahead the pass. Douglas Roberts with 3 on the clock. Lobs it, no. And we've reached halftime. An absolutely awesome first half performance.
Just a great performance in every respect. Now, Jim, a number of things. Look at the rebounding, 22-6. And I want to put something in perspective in regard to Tennessee. Tennessee beat this Memphis team. Their only loss of the year, beat them at Memphis, and in that game, out-rebounded this Memphis team we're seeing tonight, 50-34.
Hard to imagine, isn't it?
It is hard to imagine.
There's Rose with another basket. Not only did Michigan State not score in the last 6 minutes, that right there makes it now 11 consecutive empty trips. Rose.
Another easy one.
Weaving right through him.
Tom Izzo may call a timeout and just take everybody off the floor and just put in 5 new guys. I mean, he has to be totally frustrated. And I really want to compliment John Calipari's kids. They know what they're going to do. They're patient. They've been extremely unselfish. Not only are they a more talented team, they've just been playing a smart basketball game.
Here's Neitzel. Had a good look. Morgan fighting for it and draws the foul. Raymar Morgan in that first half, Billy, no points.
Yeah, 0 for 1 and Neitzel 0 for 4. Between the two of them, 0 for 5. Between the two of them, they normally average 28 points a game. They ended up in that first half not scoring.
So Texas will be here on Sunday, no doubt. The Memphis Tigers will be their opponent. And, you know, you were talking about that Tennessee game. That could be very similar in style, I would think, Texas and Memphis, Billy. Magic Johnson here to support his alma mater. He's so great about that.
Well, Jim.
Judd Heathcote in front of him.
Yeah, there's Judd sitting in front of him. Magic is who they need tonight. You know, there have only been 9 triple-doubles in NCAA tournament play. Magic had one in the Final Four where he played so well. You know, he had 2 of the triple-doubles. You know another guy that had 2? Oscar Robertson.
I was going to say Oscar. You know,
his numbers were phenomenal in the NCAA tournament. So of the 9, Magic and Oscar had 4 of them.
Rozier lost the handle. It's off his leg. That free throw by Morgan at the other end for his first point breaks a 19-0 run. But you know, I admire so much about Magic is that through the years, he comes back, he puts his Michigan State colors on, he sits in the stands, he's gracious to the fans.
Ooh,
and nice shot by Lucas.
And if you're Michigan State now, you want to play for respectability. You're not going to win this game. You want to compete.
That's
awful easy.
They're getting it inside with very little worry.
Well, we talk about the #1 seeds, Jim, and what they all have is versatility. They've got an inside game and an outside game. And see what Kansas is doing tonight. We saw North Carolina last weekend. UCLA with the inside-outside presence, the great backcourt, love on the inside. So that is what's in it. And of course, this Memphis team we're seeing. Michigan State goes back to that little matchup zone they tried earlier in the game.
Douglas Robertson to the paint. And Morgan on the floor takes it away for the Spartans. Right back, it's Anderson. Douglas Robertson, trailer. Namick had his back turned.
Well, you know what happened? Namick knocked Suton down, so they screened for each other.
The lob, blocked. They'll count it. Goaltending. That Memphis, Tennessee game we're talking about was back on February 23rd. #1 against #2. Memphis undefeated, had won its first 26 games. Tyler Smith's bucket with 28 seconds left. Gave the Vols the lead. They went on to win it by 4.
Now that's some win at Memphis. In that game, Memphis was 8 for 27 from 3. Something they're only taking threes tonight when they're wide open. They've been able to penetrate, get the ball inside, and not rely just on outside jump shots.
Rose with the 3. And Neitzel.
Nice spin.
What a spin move. Didn't have enough spin on the shot.
How about the length of Dozier? Oh, man.
And Anderson and one.
That ball was tipped, and Anderson still had the presence of mind to make that catch on the run.
Well, the West Regional Final tomorrow, UCLA and Xavier. This will be the first leg of the regional finals. Which one will be the first one to secure a berth in San Antonio?
Or which will be the first #1 not to secure one, huh?
Maybe there won't be one.
It's a possibility.
You know, kudos to Clark Kellogg. He, on Selection Sunday, he picked all 4 ones, and everybody said, "Oh, come on. You know, pick something outside of the 4 ones." And he said, "I think this will be the first time." And that is a distinct possibility.
Nice.
Time. So that was a nice feed by Morgan.
Picking up full court is Walton, who's a good, solid defender. Tom Izzo felt he might have been the most solid defender he's ever recruited. Penetrate, kick, offensive Memphis, whether it be inside or outside. Nice moving, left-handed put up.
It's Dozier. Stolen. Anderson. And Dozier keeps it for the Tigers.
Is Anderson having some kind of a ball game? John Calipari.
Rose is bleeding, and his teammate Kemp told the official, "Hold on, he's bleeding, he's bleeding." So they stopped play. And a scratch right over his right eye.
Jim, I love the way Antonio Anderson is playing. He came out with the directive that you're going to be guarding Neitzel. He's a key for Michigan State. You've got to shut him down. He has done that job, and then in every other aspect of his game, he has just been so solid.
So Andre Allen comes in for Rose. In the paint, Dorsey, clean block. Second time it's not. It's caught on Ebach. And that's 3 on Ebach. So Anderson, one of the many Tigers having a big night.
Some powertrain, Warren.
Packer.
Thank you, Greg. In this game already, Memphis has put together 4 different runs. Opening things up, a 9-0 run, an 8-0 run, a 6-point run, and a 19-0 run. Coach Cal, he's not going to sit in the dugout, if you will. He's going to take that front row seat.
Ooh, that was the kind of free throw that John does not want to see.
You don't think he called bank, huh?
No, no. That was the kind that you say these guys shoot under 60%. And Dorsey is a guy that has all kinds of problems there.
And that's Taggart on the hold outside. I was saying to you in the break, Billy, that this Memphis team, in that stretch, the last 6 minutes of the first half, reminded me of the old Phi Slamma Jamma days here from the University of Houston. And I know Guy Lewis is right here at home in Houston, and he's been recovering from some recent health issues. We sent along our best, and I'm sure it put a smile on his face watching that kind of play. Reminded him, I'm no doubt, of those glory days of Houston.
Well, I can remember that game against Louisville in the semifinals, and you said, poor NC State's going to have to face this winner. And that was probably one of the great exhibitions ever been in the semifinals of the Final Four.
Houston and Louisville in the semifinal, up and down the floor at the Pit in Albuquerque. Really, that was, ready for this, 25 years ago this week.
Hard to believe.
Allen off the screen and gets the shot.
Allen has been the most positive player for Michigan State in this ball game.
Just a freshman for the Spartans out of Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Here's Anderson, who gets fouled. He's so strong, he took Neitzel right with him.
On the pass.
On the pass. Yep, in the air.
Yep. And that's a push off on Walton, his third.
Now, it's not like Anderson hadn't had some big games before. He was the MVP of the Conference USA tournament. So despite all the guys that get most of the headlines, Anderson was certainly given the tribute for being the top player in that tournament.
Back over to Taggart. Working over Morgan, short with a shot, and there again is Allen.
Well, give Michigan State some credit in the fact that they are not backing down right now. They're playing hard the second half, particularly on the defensive end. Morgan walks, no call.
Yep, got the ball back. Allen launches a three, and he's good again.
Tom Izzo asking his club to go ahead and pick up full court. John Calipari not satisfied with the score for the way his team is playing. Look for Rose to come back in here.
That's a 9-0 run by Michigan State, where Michigan State has been thumped by Memphis, led by 30 at halftime. And Neitzel has not scored. He's just had very little freedom out there on the floor.
Well, Anderson has just blanketed him. At 6'6" and strong and quick and determined, he has just shut Drew Neitzel down completely. Tom Izzo's guys are out there working hard defensively. But just up against superior forces, there's a hold by Lucas. You know, Jimmy, you were mentioning that 83, the Houston-Louisville game. Houston got to that Final Four by beating Memphis. You know, and I think back of the Keith Lee, a guy who obviously was part of those great Memphis teams. You know, they beat Georgetown and Patrick Ewing that year. Lee gets 28 points and 15 rebounds, Ewing 24 and 9. And then Lee had to come right from that game and say, well, let me play against a guy named Hakeem Olajuwon. Can you imagine the centers that were available at that time?
Here's the outside shot by Anderson, and Suton picks it up. What I remember about that game more than anything is Clyde Drexler got a breakaway dunk and sailed up and over Andre Turner. You remember that?
Yeah.
One of the great dunks ever. Where do you start with the domination tonight with Memphis?
Every aspect of the game, passing, ball handling, defense, taking it to the hoop, outside shooting. We talked about that first half domination and rebounding, 22-6 against the Big Ten's #1 rebounding team. It's kind of amazing.
So Summers at the line. And he's a junior out of Detroit, Darrell Summers. Well, there's a few stats to back it up. Points in the paint, plus 14.
You know, it's not like Tom Izzo is a kind of coach not experienced. We talked about him earlier. And this is his 7th Sweet 16 in 11 NCAA appearances. He's 26 and 9. Only Coach K and Rick Pitino. I think I said something about earlier in the year. I said Rick Barnes and I said Rick Pitino. Okay, you know, which is a pretty nice Freudian slip right there.
It's fine.
when you take in consideration how great a coach Pitino is, I'm sure Rick Barnes would be real happy with that one.
And both Ricks are in the Elite Eight.
They're both alive in more ways than one. I mean, just great coaches.
Memphis has missed its last six, and that is going the other way.
What John Calipari is doing right now, this is a tough thing to do with a coach. The game is over. And he's trying to keep his guys focused as they were the entire first half. You're probably going to go to that bench soon, take some of those starters out of there because they can only now start to lose some concentration.
That's Allen. And that rolls in, bounces off the front of the rim for a 2.
He's having a career game right here, trying to help his team get back.
You know, they're down 22, even after scoring now the last 12. 12 unanswered by the Spartans.
You know what helped Michigan State? Rose getting that cut, because he was setting everything up for his team.
Ball squirts out to Dozier again, and now Andre Allen. Five on the shot clock. Douglas Roberts will launch it.
Wow. I think John Calipari is going to get Rose back in this ball game.
Lucas's shot rejected, they say, got a piece of the arm. Called on Douglas Roberts. I'm starting to wonder which #1 seed's going to win by the larger margin tonight. Will it be Memphis or Kansas? Now, Memphis has had 9 consecutive empty trips. They've missed 7 shots and a couple of turnovers. Lucas is at the line to shoot 2 for the Spartans.
John Calipari comes in with Donnell Mack, who was seeing basically, I think, Jim, the first action tonight. Now we're talking about another guy that is an outstanding scorer. I mean, he had 7 of 13 threes against Pepperdine this year. He hadn't even gotten into the ball game until this, 11:55 to go here in the second half. So a little bit of bench lesson over there. Let's see if he turns it on fire when he gets in here.
Yeah, he's number 20 out there on the floor. That is now a 14-0 run for the Spartans.
Back to running their offense.
Anderson fade away.
Dozier gets good inside position.
And it's going to stay with Memphis.
Isn't it amazing how Anderson has taken Neitzel out of this game? Good idea, throw it all the way down. Nobody back there.
I think at this point, now they've gone this far, they'd like to just see if they can just close it out and just keep the clamps on Neitzel.
Well, I tell you, that becomes a deal of an individual saying, you know, Coach, I want to stay out here and do it the whole time. And Anderson, he finds him even running down the court. Notice where Anderson is right now? He's on Neitzel. He's not going to let it get out of his sight. This is a personal challenge that this young man's taken on and is really doing the job. Fighting over and around screens.
Nice move by Sutan. Drives right on Dorsey and scores.
Now this becomes a matter of, and John Calipari doesn't like it, but it's a trading of baskets. And as well as his team played in the first half, he's not satisfied with the trading here in the second.
Yeah, they haven't been trading much here lately.
That's a walk.
Sunday, 60 Minutes, a baseball genius who helped win the World Series. What are his secrets? You can find out Sunday on 60 Minutes.
And that was Chris Allen, who comes up with a good defensive move. He has been, without question, the best offensive threat that Michigan State's had in this game.
So a 16-0 run, and with the ball, Michigan State. Give them credit for coming back out here and actually gave up a couple of easy baskets to start the second half. And after that, they have locked down. Lucas,
no
chance. But this time able to draw the foul. It's on Dozier. Michigan State has scored, for those just joining us, the last 16 in this game. But they were down 34. And the big story here is just the domination in that first half by Memphis, leading at 50-20. Interesting, Rose has not returned.
No, he has been sitting over there. He got a cut with, what would you say, Jim, 2 minutes to go in this half and hasn't returned.
Willie Kemp comes back in for Memphis. And Dorsey right back out there too.
So Kemp will be running the offense. And John Calipari having a little conversation over there with Andre Allen. And I don't think in a game like this he wants to hear too much voice from one of his players.
Memphis has not scored since 16:58 was on the clock in this half.
Nice defense.
Douglas Roberts, finally, the Tigers.
It's a tough matchup, you know, Jim, because he's got so many good moves right or left. And he's got long arms, about 6'5", so the defensive assignment on him almost has to be a forward. Look at it, he's now getting more involved defensively too. I think they're tired of having this basket swapping.
That's Namick. Hits the outside shot for it too.
And here comes Michigan State back to picking up full pressure. Izzo's club's doing a nice job this second half, showing the fact that they just didn't want to throw in the towel.
And that'll send Douglas Roberts to the line. In that scoring run, got up to 17 before the basket by Douglas Roberts. Allen contributing a large chunk of that. Suton with a nice move to the hole. Walton has just picked up his 4th foul for the Spartans. Check out Douglas Roberts at the line.
Well, he's won just about every honor that the conference has, Conference USA, the last 2 years. You know, like to see a guy preseason Conference Player of the Year and then do it as well. You know what, Jim?
Back it up.
Yeah, just back it up. You know, you voted me something that you think that I may have the potential to do, and then just go out and get it done.
Got a 19-point lead for both sites right now.
Here's the story of this game, right here at center court. Neitzel against Anderson.
Good pass to Morgan. And his shot block. We're spending so much time talking about Neitzel's troubles. It hasn't been any easier for Morgan.
Oh, no, they went between the two of them. They did not score a point in the first half. Not a single point.
Morgan has 5 points in this half. There's Morgan. And he draws the action. We got extended coverage at Amen Corner Live coming up at the Masters. You can watch the exclusive live video from Amen Corner Live, plus the 15th and 16th holes, live coverage. Bonus coverage of the entire field with Masters Extra at cbssports.com/masterslive and masters.org.
Well, Jim, maybe we see why Rose didn't come back quickly. He's got a big, heavy bandage over that right eye of his. I didn't see how he got it cut, but it was brought to our attention quickly by Kemp when he saw that he was cut.
Yep.
Bringing the ball over half court.
A little bit of reach in on Allen.
Well, Neitzel wants to play a little defense on Anderson. He's been in his face all day long, and maybe he felt good to play a little defense on him for a while.
Well, North Carolina and Louisville. This is a special matchup tomorrow, Billy. East Regional Final.
Well, you have a situation. Both clubs suffered some key injuries throughout the course of the year. Rick Pitino, as you know, basically had almost the entire front line walking wounded throughout the month of December. Did a tremendous job bringing them back. Ty Lawson from North Carolina, their key point guard, out for 6 games, changed their entire philosophy. They worked their way back into the #1 position in the country without him, which probably helped their ball club learning how to play without him. Should be some matchup.
At that regional final tomorrow night on CBS. Were you surprised how easily Louisville took out Tennessee?
Yes, I was, and I think that, oh, look at Rose go up in the air. But when you take in consideration, as we said, in some of the stats of Tennessee beating this Memphis club in Memphis, you had to respect what Louisville did. Well, he is in the air, isn't he?
I can't believe how much spring he had in that. He's going to have a 1-on-1 at the line. It's a 3rd on Morgan. First chance for me to see Derrick Rose in person. You know, been so many impressive freshman guards in college basketball this year, and
he's right up there with any of them.
I'm telling you, maybe the standout.
A little bit more versatile, I think, than let's say Eric Gordon as an example. I think he puts it on the floor. I think he can make a play better. I think Eric has a little bit more range on his jump shot. Both are very powerful young men.
There's Allen.
He has been the man of the hour here in a tough cause for Michigan State.
The freshman guard for the Spartans has 14.
Pretty nice move there, huh?
Yes, and again, got everybody to commit. Tip in goes for Dorsey.
No, I think that Rose got it again.
Yeah. It was Rose.
He went back and got his own miss.
And timeout call by Michigan State. And then the Wildcats own that second half up in Detroit.
And Jim, unless something goes crazy, the Big Ten will be out of the tournament as of tonight. They have #1 in Final Four appearances. The Big Ten has 39. #2 behind them is the ACC. They still have North Carolina alive. They're there at 38. So the Big Ten will have no chance to advance that record this year.
Another break in the action here in Houston.
Great Elvin Hayes in that ball game was truly outstanding. Kareem, remember, had his cornea, I believe it was his cornea was scratched. And a guy who I think has been one of the most important factors in the history of college basketball to put that together, Eddie Einhorn. Never really gets the total credit due for all that he did for the game in terms of being the first guy to understand how to syndicate college basketball, how to get it on national television, and how to really be the promoter of the game television-wise. And of course, Dick Enberg was the incredible announcer that he is an outside game.
And how important was that very game?
Oh, I think it put the college game on a whole different level.
Yep.
And of course, you had some pretty good players, you know, playing in that ball game. And UCLA and Coach Wooden often talked about it. The rematch was a little bit different
at the Final Four.
Yeah. There's the penetrate kick offense that Memphis loves to use. But when you have a guy like Douglas Roberts, you have a guy that can take it all the way and finish. Nice defense by Dorsey.
Summers. Way up in the air with that one.
A good effort by Dorsey to try to come over and help out. Summers and Allen have played extremely well for Michigan State, Jim.
Yes, they have. That basket, they just hit the, they just passed the halftime total for Memphis. Memphis was leading 50-20 at halftime.
Well, they're going to win the second half.
Yes, they are. And Morgan
can't get anything to fall.
Tonight on Dave, Charles Barkley will be his guest. And next week, Dave's all new. George Clooney, Renee Zellweger, and presidential candidate John McCain, only on CBS.
Did Barkley play in that 15-2 matchup? Was he in one of those against? I know Richmond beat Auburn. I don't know if Barkley, did he play in that one?
I don't think so.
No?
Are you thinking he did?
Dick Terrence, you know,
No.
he didn't play in that ball game. Charles had a obviously incredible career at Auburn, with the exception of the NCAA tournament. That's a hold.
You know, Billy, this has been tonight. All these games have been one-sided. But the weekend is setting up for some really fascinating matchups, including right here what
we'll call it the Clark Kellogg special, with the number ones as he predicted.
At halftime, we were sitting here discussing, like, how long will Memphis stay with his first 5 on the floor, and how big might the final margin be?
Well, it's very difficult. You get an opening shot salvo like that against another team to keep that concentration level up there. And if you're Tom Izzo, I'm sure at halftime what he talked about is going out and winning this second half. There was not much of a shot at winning the ball game.
All I know is if Allen hit that 3 right there, it would have been down to 13 with 6 minutes to play. We might have to start doing a little backtracking here. That was 1984, by the way, when Barkley went against Richmond. Auburn was a 5. Richmond was a 12.
Okay, 5 and 12.
Okay, and Richmond beat him 72-71.
Well, so that wasn't too far off.
No. Maybe Charles will talk about it tonight with,
you know,
with Dave.
Was that the first 5-12?
First time a 12 beat a 5?
I think it might have.
Well, it was the second year that they went to the full 64. Dozier back in for Coach Calipari.
Yeah, there's not much John can say right here in terms of his ball club. I thought that they didn't put the same effort defensively that they did in the first half, but they really haven't played sloppy ball in the second. I don't think that sooner or later Michigan State had to get some decent things going.
Neitzel try to force that one to Suton. And it's going back to the Spartans.
Well, there was a case where Taggart didn't realize Rose was behind him for the easy pass. And a nice job by Kemp telling Taggart it was his fault not making himself more available. I like the way this Memphis team gets along with each other. You know, I mean, this is a well-coached ball club. Guys respect each other. They played very unselfish basketball in that first half.
There's Allen, and he comes down with it. So it's a tie-up. Arrow stays now. It stays with State.
Well, Tom Izzo is right on that one. The ball was knocked out of his hands. He has the right to catch it and come down and retain possession. Tom Izzo trying to fight his case. The official knows he made a mistake, so just let it alone.
Lucas cutting to the basket. Neitzel found him.
That all started with that pass that Taggart threw away. How about that smart play by Rose?
A little skip to the basket.
How about that? Put his defender to sleep.
22 for Rose. Allen with a 3. Yes.
Oh, John Calipari is crazy. Why would you let the shooter open? Well, Jim, take a look at some of these non-power schools. Remember Cincinnati? They played against the Fab Five.
Yep.
UMass went up against the great Rick Pitino's club in University of Kentucky that won the national championship. Utah did make it to the championship game. Marquette did not. George Mason did not as well. So one club there, Utah, made it to the championship game. Rick Majerus's club.
That was 10 years ago. That was 2 was in San Antonio, where we're headed next week. Had a 19-point swing here the last 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Memphis led it at one time by 34. And it's now at 15 with 5 minutes remaining in the game.
And there's Drew Neitzel having his hands full with Chris Douglas-Roberts down on the wing. Just too big for him. Neitzel's had an incredible career, 1,500 points, 500 assists. One of the top all-around basketball players that Michigan State's had in their history. Tonight, he's 0 for 5 due to the incredible defense by Anderson. He just took him completely out of his game.
They bring back Antonio Anderson into the Memphis lineup, and he's been the one who's watched him the most tonight. Talking about watching Neitzel.
Yeah, he took him out as a personal challenge, and he's following him right down the court now.
Neitzel coming off the screen, gets it over to Allen. That shot blocked. Right there is Sutan for the easy 2. It was Taggart who hit the floor hard. So some just joining us, Michigan State has trimmed it to 14. They were down 34 earlier in this half. There's Rose, short with the shot, Taggart with the putback.
Rose with that explosive ability to take it inside with that strength, and then he has that lift at the end to be able to finish.
Here's Neitzel giving it up to Sutan.
Nice no-look pass by Neitzel.
You know, at that point, he has to be starved for a basket. It'd be easy for him to take that shot. Instead, he gave it up and got the assist.
Taggart goes down, hits the back of his head, but gets back up and goes down the other end and makes the basket. Ooh, he really took a hit.
Oh. But he's up on his feet and not complaining a bit.
You know, something unusual also, Jim, we've got 3 coaches in the history of college basketball who have taken 2 different teams to #1 seeds. And you know what? They're all still alive.
Well, you got,
come up this weekend.
Roy Williams.
So you got John Calipari, and you got Bill Self.
There you go.
So you've got Kansas, Memphis, and North Carolina, coached by the men that have done that. Calipari taking 2 from non-BCS schools.
Yep. Walton driving in, blocked from behind. They call a foul. And look who's here. Came down to watch Memphis play. You got Kansas in, you got Texas in. The only conference, again, Billy, to send 2 teams to the Elite 8.
Yeah, and how about the fact that they played each other some incredible ball games this year. Those 2.
They could meet again. Neitzel.
Yeah, just Anderson not giving him anything at all. You know, the difference in the size there. Neitzel maybe 6 foot tall. Anderson 6'6". Quick, strong, just wouldn't give him a look all night long.
And if Memphis goes on to close this out, which we expect they will, do you think Anderson would be on Augustine on Sunday? What do you think?
You know, I think that he's more inclined to be able to stop a shooter than a guy that penetrates and kicks. I think that'd be a tough assignment for him. But it may be, when you look at their lineup, the most logical assignment.
Right.
That's one thing Texas has going for it. It plays really 3-point guards at a time. So, but then on the other side, what do they do with those small guards guarding a man like Chris Douglas-Roberts?
Douglas-Roberts with
one of those small guards has to handle him.
That's right. He's got 18 on the game. Summers puts up the shot. And again, it's Dozier.
What will be interesting to see if this team will regain that intensity it had at the start of this ball game. I mean, they just went after Michigan State. Michigan State had no answers. They tried to change their defenses up some. Didn't alter their lineup that much, but they just had no answer.
It's about as strong a first half performance, Billy, I would think you've seen in a long time.
It really was.
They led 50-20 at halftime. Now you got UCLA Xavier. What do you see in this matchup?
Well, the thing that would scare me if I were a UCLA fan is it seems like for the last month and a half, they've been getting by on games with the incredible plays or fouls and things of that nature. How long can that continue? Do you think that one game would come up when it all wouldn't turn their way? But they play such strong defense, they're never out of the ball game. Xavier's a team that we all talked about right off the bat this season. They had just that incredible run early on. The Atlantic 10 had a terrific season where they actually had maybe too many good teams, and they started banging up on each other and guys fell by the wayside, but Xavier was always up at the top and without question could play with anyone, as we're seeing the case with Davidson.
You just a short while ago were talking about those teams that have made it to the Final Four from outside of the Power 6 conferences. You're going to have 3 from the outside in the Final 8. With the Atlantic 10 you just mentioned with Xavier, Davidson out of the Southern Conference, and Memphis here out of Conference USA, Billy. That's 3 out of 8.
Yep, close to 50-50 here.
North Carolina and Louisville tomorrow in Charlotte. North Carolina has really steamrolled through its 3 games.
What will be interesting there, Rick Pitino, a master at pressing and his zone defense as well. And I don't know if you can afford to be pressing North Carolina. As quick as they are, and they just love to get that game going up and down. They see Louisville play a little bit more half court, a little bit more solid zone. And they have something that maybe nobody else has in the country. They have a center that basically plays point guard and really makes a lot of their key decisions on the offensive end in Padgett. A young guy who started off at Kansas, so you know he's pretty good shape. 2 schools that are fighting it out.
You know, that was a Louisville team that came on strong right at the end of the season, got it going in February and had a nice win streak. And I remember about 2 weeks before Selection Sunday, you had them on the board as one of 10 potential #1 seeds in the tournament. Here they are going to play North Carolina tomorrow, the one in the East.
Yep. Utilizing some clock. Illegal dribble by Rose. He gets by with it. Let's see if the ref watches a little closer.
Splits the defenders.
Oh, so strong.
They count the shot.
He is so strong.
The last time Drew Neitzel was shut out was 2 years ago in the Big Ten tournament in a game against Iowa.
Well, he had a game in 2 great games this year in the Big Ten tournament. He had 28 against Ohio State, 26 against Wisconsin, that losing cause. But then against Temple, he was 2 for 11 and 1 for 8 from 3. Only had 5 points in that one, but this game has been a total block by Anderson.
Lucas, nice move. Gives it up, Sutan.
Pressure's there, see if they'll go long. Dorsey was wide open.
The timeout called by Memphis. Today's Chevrolet players of the game. Chris Allen from Michigan State. 18 points, played hard, played well. And Derrick Rose with 25 points.
Have a quiet 25. He went out with a cramp in the first half and with an eye injury.
Yeah.
And a cut in the second half, still got 25. Very efficient.
And now they're going to start putting Memphis on the line. It'll be Taggart going to the other end. Kansas and Davidson. Your first thought on that one, Billy? How will Kansas match up with the Wildcats in that one?
I think that Kansas will just have too much balance for them, too much size. I think that it's been an incredible run for Davidson, but I would be shocked if they can stay with Kansas.
Of course, it's a Davidson team that stepped out of conference earlier in the year. Played at UCLA, had UCLA down 18 in the first half, lost by 12. Played North Carolina to a close game, Duke to a close game. And now they've beaten the Big Ten champs. They've beaten the Big East regular season champs. Gonzaga, the West Coast Conference regular season champs. That'll be Sunday in Detroit. There's Neitzel. Is this the time?
Yes. He gets one.
Rattles around and goes in for a 3.
That'd be a good idea, I think, for Tom Izzo to take him out.
Good for him.
You know, he's not thinking that way, but wouldn't be a bad idea. And you know what? Who wasn't guarding him on that possession? Anderson.
Kid's had a great career, and you just don't want to see it end with being blanked from the floor.
Well, I remember when he was a freshman It was pass first, pass second,
Absolutely.
pass third. You know, then
You never imagined that he would turn into the scorer, did you?
that's right. And then by the time he's a sophomore, maybe pass first and think about shooting second. And then last year as a junior, it was shoot first. So he completely rearranged his style at Michigan State based on what was needed.
Tipped up Sutan, and that's out to Douglas Roberts in a reach-in call against Michigan State. Neitzel was on a Final Four team, not just on it. He started for him. Got to St. Louis back in 2005, his freshman year. Next week on CBS, 2 new episodes, 2 unforgettable nights. CSI Miami, both Monday and Tuesday on CBS. Lucas is fouled out for the Spartans.
Well, Allen really became the major player offensively for Michigan State. Morgan going out now never was a factor in this ball game. Neitzel wasn't a factor.
There's another senior, Drew Namick, member of that Final Four team. #1 shot blocker in Michigan State history.
Yeah, that's something you never would realize if you weren't reading that stat sheet.
There's Allen again. Hit by Namick, back to Allen.
Nice.
Oh, great body control. Timeout, State.
The final top 5.
The final top 5, including UCLA on the road. Douglas Roberts fouled on the shot by Allen.
Allen tries to go right up there with him. That was a dangerous play for both players at this point in this game.
I was thinking exactly that when Douglas Roberts was in the air with 1:12 to go.
Absolutely, you've got a star player in this ball game. I got to figure Neitzel's got to be coming out, don't you? Nope, doesn't look that way. Chris Allen picked up his 5th foul.
Isaiah Dolman comes in for the Spartans in replacement of Allen.
As I said again, Jim, you watch these guys, with the exception of Dorsey, shoot free throws, and they all have pretty nice strokes.
The 23 out of 32, make it 24 of 33 tonight.
Not bad.
Neitzel again. Got 6 points now.
He's saying, thank goodness I don't have Anderson anywhere near me.
Timeout, Memphis.
He's shooting right over the top of Allen. A lot different than shooting over that 6'5" Anderson.
I know one thing. He shot that one about 5 feet beyond the stripe. We can now, Billy, advance them in the brackets.
I advanced him at halftime.
I know you did.
Matter of fact, I advanced him. I think if you go back and listen to the tape, I think this game might have been 6 or 8 minutes in. I mean, there was such a difference.
You saw a mismatch really early in this game.
Yeah, there was such a difference in the talent level, the quickness level, and the intensity level in which Memphis State came into this game.
He shot 63% in the first half. They closed the first half, scoring the last 15 points. Michigan State had 10 empty trips to close out that debacle of the first half for their cause. Down 30 at the intermission. They win the second half. But Memphis, a double-digit lead the last 29 minutes of the game.
John Calipari's looking across the court at me, kind of laughing. He probably heard me call him Memphis State. Probably got upset with that, huh?
That's understandable.
Yeah, great part of their heritage.
Rose,
I'm glad to see he's sitting down there.
Yeah.
You know, he
had an ice pack on that cut over his eye now. He ends up with 27 points, by the way. That's a career high for Rose.
Did it very efficiently, just like we saw Augustine in the first game.
Namick from the outside.
Anderson with the rebound, and everybody said just hold it up. And Anderson rightfully should be dribbling this one out, Jim. He set the stage for how this game was going to be played.
You think this team's playing, Billy, with a little chip on the shoulder? Everybody kind of thinking they're the number one seed that would be the most vulnerable.
I didn't think so.
I know, but there are pundits out there who were saying that. And tonight they showed America what they're truly able to do. That's a shot clock violation.
Well, they had to go ahead and give it up, though. There was 6 seconds differential on the clock. Allen pretending like he really wasn't trying to make that shot, but I am sure that he was.
Pretty impressive here in Houston. Memphis to the Elite Eight once again.